Okay, hi everybody. So I'm Jason Hull, and this is Sarah Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow, and the COO of DoorGrow, co-owners. And this is the world's leading and most comprehensive coaching and consulting firm for long-term residential property management entrepreneurs. For over a decade and a half, we have brought innovative strategies and optimization to the property management industry. We have spoken to thousands of property management business owners, coached, consulted, and cleaned up hundreds of businesses, helping them add doors, improve pricing, increase profit, simplify operations, and build and replace teams. We are like bar rescue for property managers. In fact, we have cleaned up and rebranded over 300 businesses, and we run the leading property management mastermind with more video testimonials and reviews than any other coach or consultant in the industry. At DoorGrow, we believe that good property managers can change the world, and that property management is the ultimate high-trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. All right, now let's get into the show. All right, so today is June 30th, which is my birthday. So some of you may see this later. You may see the recording later. We'll broadcast it live later because that's what we do now. But it's my birthday today. And so we were thinking like, happy birthday to me. So I am 48 years old. And and Sarah surprised me. We came out to Orlando to do a sales training event to teach our clients on the new model of selling stuff that we've been doing, to teach them my framework, the golden bridge formula, which I am now just starting to work on writing a book about that I think could revolutionize sales. And she surprised me by having my daughter Maddie, who's our head of client success, be here, and our clients be here the first day we got in, which I didn't expect. And they said surprise, and they surprised me, and we all hung out, and it was very cool. And so I appreciate that. And so we were thinking, like, what should we talk about today? What were you thinking?
Well, my suggestion was let's talk about the last year and how things are different for you, and then what you're hoping for in the next year.
So reflecting. So we actually do our planning year at DoorGrow starting on July 1st. Not because of my birthday on June 30th, but because we want to offset it by 2 quarters, because we're kind of trying to reach end of the year goals and hit your goals and strive towards success and winning as a company doesn't really work out super well during the holidays when everybody's focused on family and Christmas and stuff like that. And so we offset it, and so that we're hitting the end of our planning year in the middle of the summer, which really allows us to focus on things, get excited about new things, and our upcoming plan. And so this is the end of our planning year, and it's also the end of the next year of my life here on the earth. And so this is a good opportunity to reflect just on like what have we accomplished in the last year. And we've made a lot of changes at DoorGrow. So I don't know, what are some of the things that we've accomplished at DoorGrow in the last year?
I think one of the big things that we did is we added more to the onboarding, and now we're doing some of the onboarding with clients in person. So it used to all just be, kind of talk with us and meet with us on Zoom and talk with us on Telegram and, watch some courses on DoorGrow Academy. And there is still all of that. And then, of course, you get your one-on-one meetings with a coach for the first couple weeks. And we walk you through everything and make sure that you have access and make sure you know where to find everything and that you can log in and you know how to use it. And then there's another part of it that we bring you guys out to the North Austin, Texas area, and we do a one-day deep dive into your business. And that's been a big shift for us.
Yeah.
We have been doing that for just about a year now.
Yeah, there's something we've noticed, and I call it the real bubble. There's this bubble or this perception that we have to burst, that the internet, Zoom calls, videos like this are not real life. And we have to break that or burst that bubble and connect them to us being real people, because we're actually real people. Like, you can fist bump us, hug us, give us a high five, give us a hug. Like, we're real people. And but until we pass that barrier with our clients, we've noticed they don't get as good of results. They don't absorb the content the same, because this is not real life in their mind. So videos in Door Grow Academy. And so the in-person onboarding has been a really big deal in allowing us to really get to know clients better, to connect with them, get people breakthroughs. Usually we can offset the cost of the whole program, maybe even in that first in-person session.
Yeah.
So that can be pretty powerful. And it's really increased our retention rate. Like, it's really allowed us as coaches to keep clients more engaged and have them stay a lot longer.
Yeah, and I think it makes us a lot more accessible to people.
Yeah.
Because until you meet us in person, it's like, oh, you can message us anytime. And sometimes people feel a little weird about doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're, they don't know, oh, am I allowed to do that? Or should I reach out? Or no, I don't want to bother them with that. But it's just so much more personal once you meet us in person. And then it's like, there's so much more of a deeper connection and relationship. And then people go, oh, yeah, like, they'll know the answer. I can talk to them at any point. And then they really start to leverage that resource.
Yeah. So, we've spent the last several years making a lot of improvements to our program. And I think last several years, this last year, we've really put a lot of attention on lead generation, on focusing on how to actually grow our business now that we've got the program even more well dialed in, and figuring out how can we reach more people. And even just recently, we got some really strong breakthroughs in how I think we could help a lot more people a lot more quickly, and just optimizing our sales process, which I think is just, I'm really excited about. Like, I'm really excited about the stuff that we're rolling out and that we're doing at Door Grow. Personally, man, I feel like this has been a big year of growth for me, personally. A lot of changes. I feel like our relationship has evolved a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's been, I think coming into a new relationship, and we've been together, we've known each other for total, maybe, what did you say today, 6 years?
He's listening, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 6 years.
Almost 6 years. I'm bad with dates, stuff like that. But yeah, almost 6 years. And so, so we've known each other for a little while, but I feel like I'm just now starting to get clarity on some of the things, my own issues, some of the things that have held me back, some of my own insecurities, some of my own challenges. And so, this year has been a year of me really learning and growing in relationship. I feel like quite a bit as well. So, I don't know where else we should go with this. Like, what else I should share about that? But
well, anything you want to share that you feel comfortable sharing, is go ahead and talk about it. But I think one of the things I've noticed in you, especially over the last year, is you shift much more easily into like leadership, like at home and with the family.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've put a lot of study into the masculine and the feminine, and just recognizing, my role in as being a leader and being willing to lead, and I think that allows you to feel a lot safer and calmer in the relationship.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which also makes me feel a lot safer and calmer in the relationship. And so I think there's a lot of men that you see out there complaining about women. You see a lot of women complaining about men. And I think I really do believe that men really are meant to lead in that. And that leading doesn't mean controlling. It doesn't mean bossing people around. Leadership is about inspiring others to be willing to support and follow you. And I think men are meant to be leaders. Like, if they don't step out and be leaders, I think it's men's responsibility. And so if men are complaining about women, well, it's your fault, guys. And if women are complaining about men, you're right. It's the men's fault. That's how I view it.
Okay.
Women are...
So it's your fault no matter what, men. Sorry.
Yes. Like, yeah. Because if men really stand up
So,
and they really lead, and they're meant to be
okay.
leaders, and they're not waiting for women to change and trying to hold their breath till women change, and they change, I believe that if they lead and they take responsibility and they, work on themselves, then women in their life, if the women love them, will follow, and they will allow these men to like step into leadership, because that allows them to feel safer and to calm down and to like relax into the feminine. And so I think for a lot of men, it's about shattering their own feminine frame. And there's a great book on that I read that really kind of changed things for me, that is called Shattering the Feminine Frame by Jerr, Jerr. I thought that was a brilliant book. I've given it to some guy friends, and that were kind of in that feminine frame of that. And the feminine frame for guys is that they're trying to please. They're trying to please their partner, please their girlfriend, please their spouse. They're trying to please everybody else. And in that state of pleasing, they become unsafe to everyone around them. They're not leading. And it's not appealing or generally attractive to most women when a guy's in that state. So that's something that I've shifted more into, in stepping more into the masculine and stepping more into leadership. And the thing I think that's key that I understood from that book and his other book, which is called The Wall Speaks by Jerr, Jerr, this philosopher. The other basic principle is that men really need to believe in themselves. Like if they believe in themselves, a lot of times we're trying to get belief from our partner. Like I love when Sarah believes in me. It's everything. Like men are constantly trying to get women to believe in them. It's the thing we crave. However, if a man is always trying to place his locus of control for belief and power in his woman, then the problem is she now feels unsafe, and she's way less likely to believe in him. And so I think one of the things I've realized is that I have to believe in myself. I have to believe in me first. Even if it's unrealistic or crazy, I have to have unrealistic, impossibly amazing self-belief. And if I believe in myself, then everyone around me believes in me too. And if they don't, it doesn't matter anymore. If I believe enough in myself, either everyone else will go, oh my gosh, this person's amazing, I believe in them too, I want to follow this person, I want this person to lead me, or they won't, and you won't care because your self-belief is so strong. And so I think it's really important for guys to develop that self-belief and not try to put that onto their partner, because that's a really big burden for me to throw on your shoulders.
Well, and I think for women, I can't speak for all women, but for myself, it's really hard to have belief in someone or something that isn't confident in themselves. So if I'm more confident in you than you are in you, there's a problem. And when, at least I do, like we can tell. We can just tell.
Oh yeah. Women can smell weakness, because women are kind of born from from birth, like having to like deal with fear and having to deal with the dangers of society and men and difficulty things and whatever. Like men, we're not afraid to walk down the street generally. We're not worried about somebody hurting us. Like we're generally the stronger half of the species, and we don't have that mindset. We're not like looking for safety. In a lot of instances, the thing we're looking for, physical safety. What we are looking for a lot of times is emotional safety. And we try to create that by pleasing, and maybe if I'm nice enough, she will be kind, and it usually works out the opposite way, because women want to test our strength, and they want to test us emotionally, see if we are stable enough to support them and to handle them. And if we do, we kind of pass that unconscious test that they throw at us, that they now can lean into us and feel safe and go, oh, this man is a rock, this man is stable. I can have my feminine emotional waves of things going on, and he is still that stable, grounded rock that I can lean on. And so that's been a big deal for me, is to kind of take back that locus of control, because I'm on my third marriage. This is like, I spent a lot of years thinking the game was happy wife, happy life, and I have to please my partner. And that becomes a really uncomfortable game if you have an unpleasable partner. And a lot of times by trying to please your partner, you end up doing the opposite. Like it makes them feel less and less safe and less pleased. And they want you to just step up and lead and plan some date nights and like make some decisions and let them actually relax and be in the feminine occasionally, right? And Sarah has to step into her masculine a lot in business and in work. And so I think being able to come home and being able to sometimes with me relax into the feminine is probably feels good. I don't know.
Yeah, there are times, and I think in every relationship you can kind of figure out what are the things that each person prefers to handle. So for me, there's certain things that even if he did it, I would still want to go back and probably redo it. Or there would be things that I would have to confirm or check on because I want it exactly a certain way. And if it's not, exactly the way that I pictured it in my head, then I'm just not going to be satisfied. And then I'm going to feel like, man, I should have just done it myself. So if you have those things, and it can be anything, you just kind of have to figure out, well, what are the things that each partner wants to do? And really, what are the things that each partner can rely more on the other one for?
Yeah.
Like every time we travel, my brain would not be able to handle it if he handled the travel details. Like booking the dogs and booking the hotels or the Airbnb, like where we're at right now, the Airbnb, or getting the flights and figuring out rental cars and all of the things. Like first of all, it's fun for me to do that. And second of all, I want it a very specific way. There's a right side of the airplane for me to sit on, and it happens to be the right side. So if he books the ticket and then he puts me on the left side of the airplane, it's not that it's wrong, but it's sort of wrong. Right?
By the way, I upgraded our flights on the way home, and I got you an aisle seat, and I'm next to you, and because I know you love that, and we're on the right side of the plane.
Okay, so you did it the right way. That's good.
So there you go. So part of that's also getting to really know and care about your partner. Like I take a lot of notes. I've got a lot of notes in my notes file. I have a whole folder in my notes app on my iPhone called Sarah. So I think I have like 80 notes in there. Yeah, that's how complex you are. So because I study her because I want to win the game. Win the game of marriage and of life, but part of winning the game is not just being a pleaser and trying to please all the time. It's also recognizing my own boundaries and my own needs emotionally and being willing to ask. That's been a hard thing for me.
That's really hard for you, which is so interesting because I don't feel like that's something that I struggle with. What I struggle with asking for help. I am not good at asking people for help. Because the way I grew up, it was viewed as weakness. If you need help, it's because you're weak. If you need help, it's because you don't know how to do it. If you need help, it's because you're less than. You're not good enough. You're not enough. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. It's whatever it is. But so for me, it's so hard to ask for help. So my ways of asking for help are, instead of directly asking or especially nicely asking, the way that most people would say, hey, could you please help me with this thing? Like I can't seem to bring myself to ask that way.
Yeah.
So I'll start to do something and then hope that somebody picks up on the cues that I'm giving, like sighing, like like I'll wait.
Yeah.
There's like a big, case of water that I'm carrying. Like
do you need
I'll
something?
carry everything else, or
Yeah.
I'll try to go pick up the water. And can I do it myself? Yes, of course I can. But it's nice when your partner goes, oh, hey, you know what? You want me to help you with that? I'm like, yes, I do. Because then I didn't have to ask. So I'm not good at asking for help, but you're not generally good at asking for what you want, which is really interesting. Because when I want something, I'm very good at just saying, and I don't generally ask, I just state it. It's more of a statement. I want this, I want that, I don't want this, I want this.
Yeah.
So I'm very good at saying this is what I want. I'm not great at asking for help, but you're really not great at asking for what you want.
Well, I think part of that is I grew up in this really conservative religious culture in which you were kind of, the right way of being was to self-sacrifice and to serve others. And it wasn't about what you want. It was about taking care of everybody else and doing what God wants and what others want. And it was not about what you want. And so I think but if you don't ever ask for what you want or do things or try to get what you want out of life, then you end up depleted, you end up miserable, you end up frustrated, you end up wondering why nobody cares about you. And other people might, they just can't serve you or reciprocate or benefit you if you don't ask them for what you want. And I mean, it's so simple that sometimes I make such a big deal about it, but if I just ask you for something, you're just like, okay, and then I get what I want. And it
I know,
can be
it's
that
like magic.
simple.
It's crazy.
I know, it can be that simple.
It's really weird when you ask for someone and then you get the thing that you asked for.
I know, and then asking for help is difficult for you, but the secret thing
But
for
it's
like
uncomfortable.
for women,
I'm like,
especially if you're,
I have to ask somebody to help me do a thing that I should be fully able to do by myself.
So especially if you're an attractive woman, it's so easy. You don't even have to ask for help. You can. If you ask for help, everybody will give it to you. But if you just state how you feel about something, the person around you that cares will just step in. Like, guys, we want to be the hero. Like, if she just says, oh my gosh, these water bottles are so heavy, like I can tell she's feeling that a way about them, then I would just be like, oh my gosh, let me take care of this. Like, I'll just step right in. Like, that's the magnetic energy of women.
Like, man, it'd be so nice if these water bottles were just put away.
That's a little obvious, right?
It's like my way of asking.
That's a really obvious way of doing it.
Man, it'd be so nice if
So
I
then
didn't
I'm
have
looking
to
at
do
you
this.
like, really? Okay, I can take care of this. Yeah. But see, there's a way that you could do it, right? That makes me feel honored. And there's a way that makes me feel nagged, right? Like if you were like, I'll get the water bottles myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll take them. And then I'm like, whatever she is.
We all know.
We all know what the word is. Yeah.
We all know. And I am.
Yeah. So then I'm like that. But then if she was like, oh my gosh, these are so heavy, who can help me? I'm like, oh, damsel in distress, here comes your knight in shining armor. I got it. I'll take these water bottles. Let me
Because
go.
we're in the Disney room right now, that it's like, oh no, what will I ever do with this water? It's so heavy. Let me come help you.
But even if
That's not real life, I don't think.
No,
that's
real life. If women share, if they have a man that actually pays attention to them and cares about them, if she shares how she's feeling about something, not like to put him down, but saying this thing is causing me stress, or I'm worried about this, or it's really bothering me that there's this thing, then the guy will want to step in and save the day. We just want to do, we would much rather save the day than be nagged to do something. That's like very easy. Like, so you don't even have to ask for help. If you ask for help, like, obviously, if you're like, oh my gosh, could you please help me with these water bottles, you big, strong man, I'd be like, absolutely. Like, let me do this. Like, yeah, I would think I'm so great. That's the superpower. Like, women have that superpower. You can just, like, we just want to take care of you. So I think that's been a big thing this year, is kind of stepping a little bit more into recognizing the differences in masculine and feminine, and being able to step into that. And gosh, what else this year?
Well, I think you touched on it very briefly, but I think one of the things you've been a lot better at recently is setting boundaries. That's been interesting.
Yeah, I read a book about boundaries, and it kind of gave me a breakthrough. I thought boundaries were about, this is what I'm willing to tolerate, and I need to control other people. And I think that what I read about boundaries, though, that kind of shifted my thinking, is that boundaries are not about saying what the other person needs to do or shouldn't do. It's about figuring out what I will do and what I will do if people act a certain way. Because boundaries are about setting your locus of control, not trying to control somebody else. It's about you being in control of you. And so figuring out, here's what I'm comfortable with. And if things are going to go this way, then I don't want to be part of this, or I'm not comfortable. So I think there's been a little bit, of setting boundaries. I think, though, there's also been a heavy, for me, challenge in kind of resetting expectations, boundaries. I grew up in a very conservative culture where the women you're not really supposed to talk to other men if you're a married woman.
Yeah, I know.
And so,
I know.
and so that, to me, it felt like Sarah was always trampling on my boundaries, because she's like, she's this year you've really gotten into flying.
Yeah.
And so she's spending hours alone with a guy, a dude in an airplane. And that's something like I've had to be.
My instructor is a male.
Yeah, yeah.
know.
And so that's been something I've had to get comfortable with, is recognizing, I had to challenge those beliefs, because that belief was causing me a lot of grief. And a lot of times we think the other person is causing the grief. It's usually the belief you have connected to that person that's causing. And the belief was, Sarah shouldn't be talking to men. Now, I had to question that belief. So if you've ever heard of Byron Katie, she's got this great book called Loving What Is. And this whole methodology she calls doing the work. And I went through and I did the work on this, which is you question the belief. You take the belief, you figure out what it is, you figure out, how do I feel when I think this thought, when I have this belief? Well, then I feel angry and I feel hurt and I feel disrespected and, all these kind of things. And so then I take that belief and I question it. Is it true? Is it true that Sarah shouldn't be around men or talk to men? Well, obviously, I can't say that that's totally true, because we coach clients.
I coach.
We coach clients, we coach men, yes. A lot of our clients are men. Well, some are women, yeah. And she has a pilot that she learns from. And so I recognized I had to find a truer belief. So the truer belief that I got in touch with was, because part of the exercise is to turn around. Sarah should be around other men. And I was like, how is that true? Well, yeah, good men will help develop Sarah. Good men will protect Sarah. Good men will help, expand her mind and help her reach higher levels and make her a better person. Good men will, right? And so I was like, okay, so that's true also. So there's this conflict. Maybe that's not as true. And then I was thinking, well, if it's good for her to be around other men because they help her teach and they can help her learn and help her grow, then it can be a good thing. It can be a good thing about that. But if that's true, then what is all these feelings that I have? Well, my past relationship, I was cheated on. She was an alcoholic. Like, there were a lot of challenges that traumatized me that would bring up stuff. So then I had to actually deal with that stuff and heal things instead of try to get Sarah to be a certain way to make me feel safe. The other thing I got in touch with, working with a men's
Can
coach.
we stop there for a second?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's something that you do really well that not everyone can do.
What's that?
You just did a whole bunch of work on that.
Yeah.
I mean, you acknowledged, hey, I'm feeling a certain kind of way, and is this how I should be feeling? And does that belief and does that emotion and does that thought system, does that actually serve me? Or is there something that's better and true? And I should actually look at myself instead of projecting that onto other people. And I think that's something that, I mean, you've generally always been really good at that, but I think like this last year, you've done that in a lot of different aspects. And I just want to commend you for that, because I don't know that everyone can always do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's true. I think the fact that you are a high growth minded individual and you're reaching big goals and you're moving towards your dreams and you're flying and getting your dream car and doing all this stuff that you're doing and I mean, if you have a partner that's growing, if you're with them, you're tethered to this roller coaster that's on the move. And so I think that being in relationship with you, I'm a high growth individual too. There's times where I thought I would outgrow you and it would create discomfort, like you wouldn't keep up with me. And I've always been pleasantly surprised as well. And so I think that's the challenge and the benefit of being in a relationship with somebody that wants to grow. When you want to grow as well, it's going to force you to grow in areas that you didn't expect to. And so I had to reconcile all these different feelings that would come up as you're stepping into new ways of being and new areas of growth, to figure myself out and figure out, why am I feeling this way and how do I feel about this? And I think that's been really beneficial to recognize that we have great mentors that are great men.
Yeah. Right? And what a shame it would be if I couldn't learn from people like that.
Yeah, and I would love for you to absorb as much as you can from some of these mentors and great men that we know, and to have a belief that you shouldn't communicate with men or pair off with a guy or whatever, there's like that would make flying pretty difficult, or you'd have to go find a female pilot instead of the best
and
one
most women
that
don't
you want.
like me.
Maybe, yeah, maybe a lot of women don't like you. I don't know.
It's hard.
I think yeah, I think there's been a big year of growth in kind of figuring out that and figuring out what my needs are. And you know, I mentioned I have a coach that coaches men. She's a woman, and so I'm spending time with her, right? And she's helping me to get insight and understand some of the things that are my challenges, so that I can grow and develop, and help me understand how this really allowing you to grow benefits me. You're a much more fun and playful, even feminine person as you get into the state of play in life and being able to do the things that you enjoy doing, and flying planes and, you know, having dogs and all the stuff that you love to do.
And all the things, yeah. All right, well, we have a few minutes before we wrap up because we've got your birthday dinner to go to.
Oh, yeah.
So before we end, then what are you looking forward to in the next year?
Well, I'm really excited. I feel like I have been on a really strong personal trajectory for growth in the last year. And I feel like our relationship has gotten a lot deeper. I feel a lot safer and more connected. There's always been this kind of subtle anxiety from the previous traumas and the previous stuff that I'd gone through, and relationships and stuff like that. And I feel like I finally understand you, because there was a lot of friction related to that previous thing, thinking Sarah doesn't understand men and doesn't understand the dangers of men, doesn't understand the boundaries of men.
Oh, I understand the dangers of men.
And that Sarah doesn't have boundaries towards men. So we had conversations about this, because this also allowed me to bring up my concerns, and then you shared. You're like, no, like this is how I would handle this. This is how I feel about this. This is how I would never do this, and like this sort of thing. And so, whereas before it felt like we were kind of playing this tug of war rope, where I was trying to get you to be more respectful in relation to not being around men or communicate with men without me or something, and you were trying to not feel controlled by this domineering husband.
Yeah, I don't do well.
And so we're like,
and I like double down. That's my fun game I like to play.
Yeah, so we were both kind of misunderstanding each other. And so it's been a lot nicer to be able to recognize, oh, we really have a lot more in common related to that, and healthier boundaries. And we both really value the relationship. And that's allowed me to feel a lot safer, and for you to finally understand me, and me be able to communicate what's going on with me, for you to understand that. And then my coach that I'm working with to say, hey, it's okay for you to have these feelings and to have an issue that you need to work through, and to go to your partner saying, hey, I could use some reassurance with this. But not to go to them with accusation and then they resist, right? To go to you and say, hey, I'm feeling a way about this, and I'm getting all mixed up in my thinking, or it's getting more than I can handle, and I'm freaking out. You know, can you like reassure me? And like, if I communicate that way, then you can help me through that. And then it reduces the need for that, because then I'm in a state of safety. Whereas what we were creating before was it was snowballing into more and more anxiety in me because of that tug of war. And so, yeah, so I'm really excited in the next year how our relationship will develop even more. I feel like we've grown so much, and I feel like we've got really big goals that we've connected with in the business.
Just even in the last few weeks.
That we're planning to do that really can take DoorGrow to the next level and really have it dominate and benefit the industry. And we've got some big enemies we want to go after. We've got some big goals that we want to do. We've got some big impact we want to have to make a difference. And and it's been just so rewarding to be able to connect with clients about this and get them thinking with a bigger vision as well. So I
truly feel like if you're not involved in DoorGrow, you're going to miss it. Like, you're going to miss the bus. Like, the bus is taking off soon. Like, it's going, get on it. But I feel like that was one of my comments on Jeremy's post the other day, where he's like, just me and 12 of my best friends, like, having lunch. And it was like, Yeah, no big deal. Just a bunch of property managers about to take over the whole industry. Like
know,
that's what I feel like us and our clients are really going to do is we're going to dominate the entire industry, and I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, we just took a trip recently to Mexico. We were part of a big mastermind with some high-level thinkers, and we got some really good mental technology installed in our brain that really was a game changer for us thinking outside the box with a bigger vision, and we're injecting that into all of our clients, getting them to think bigger. And I think we're going to have the most innovative group of property managers and clients ever. And nobody will be able to keep up with the innovation and the things that we're all doing because we all have such bigger goals. And our clients are lit on fire by that. They're excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And so I think that Door Grow is going to do some big things. And I think we're going to have a big impact, which is awesome. So that makes me really excited because there's nothing better than changing lives. And, we've got a client named Joy, and she messaged me the other day, and she said, ever since we met and did our Jumpstart session, she says, I'm finally sleeping again at night. And that's
good.
that's the stuff. That's way better than money. You can't buy that. Like, you have to really contribute to others to get something like that. And so that's really amazing. So I'm just really excited to help change some lives and have some impact. So that's the next year. So, well.
All right. Well, let's wrap up and go to dinner.
All right. So if you've ever felt stuck or stagnant and you want to take your property management business to the next level, reach out to us at doorgrow.com and join our free Facebook group. You can get into our free Facebook community. It's just for property management business owners by going to doorgrowclub.com. And if you found this even a little bit helpful, then don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. And until next time, remember the slowest path to growth is to do it alone. So let's grow together. Bye, everyone.